Good morning, everyone. I'm excited to be here today to talk about a potential solution. I want to give a little more context. Bill gave you some awesome statistics. I have just a little bit more. In Sarasota County, the average household energy bill for the whole year, the full amount, is about $1,200. Okay, so the average household is spending about $1,200 a year just on the electricity for their place, and low-income families in Sarasota County are paying more than that, far more than that. They pay more per square footage. They pay more as a percentage of their income. This is true across the country, but we also have local data, which is that top right graph, which shows based on home value, so lower cost homes have a higher per square footage cost for electricity. And this is a very small sample because we don't have much access to the data, but so that's a really important point for me personally, is the low income energy burden is a big opportunity. Bill shared the solar information, so I won't go further on that, just that the bottom chart shows the number of solar installations in Sarasota County by year. And thanks to FPL for that data. It's really helpful for us to see the trends over time. It has been going up, and the data that's not in there is 2017, and that is when the solar co-op happened, which captured 71 new installations in Sarasota County. So there's a tremendous opportunity for local, both solar installations and efficiency improvements. So we really want to make some progress there. The other piece of this that isn't in the title for this session, but resiliency in general is really important. I want to give the examples of some data from Hurricane Irma. Here in Sarasota County, the data for Irma, the maximum sustained winds from Irma were 48 miles per hour. The highest recorded gust was 81 miles per hour. So you all saw the debris on the side of the road. You saw the impact that storm had in our community. These are not big wind numbers, right? There's a lot more that could have happened locally. We really were very lucky. But with those low numbers, 83% of our community lost power for some point of time. FPL, thank you for getting that back on as you did, and you worked very hard on that. But some of that lasted a long time, and we all talked to each other. How long? That was our small talk for several weeks. How long were you without power, and how did you deal? Where did you go? All of that. People in shelters. We had over 20,000 people in shelters in Sarasota County. We had 13 locations open. I use this as an indicator of people who didn't feel safe in their own homes, okay? So that's a sign of how many people would need to make resiliency improvements in their homes in order to stay in those homes for future storms. The number of homes impacted after they assessed over 100,000 homes, they found 438 that had some level of damage. Most of those were mobile homes, and most of them were very small types of damage. 14 had major damage, major or minor damage in Sarasota County. Okay, so this is a way to just give you a snapshot of a storm that is very recent for us, and we all felt, if you were here for that, we all felt that impact. So there's a lot of opportunity. We've heard a lot of community interest in storm windows, shutters, roof improvements. People want to make these changes. They are very conscious of it and are trying to find ways to do that. So a potential tool for the energy side and the hurricane side is called Property Assessed Clean Energy. Let me step back for a second. Some of the barriers to people making the energy and the hurricane improvements seem to be, most commonly, are awareness, motivation, and upfront costs. So awareness and motivation are increasing, right? We are now very aware of hurricane risks. We are more motivated on the energy side. People are very aware of this and are starting to want to make changes. So what I hear most is that people still don't have or don't want to use the upfront cash that is needed to make these pretty big investments in their homes. So affordable and convenient financing seems to be a barrier for many, and so this is what we've tried to address with this Property Assessed Clean Energy, or PACE program. So what PACE is a way to finance these specific improvements in energy and hurricane improvements through an assessment on your property taxes. It was enabled by the state legislature in 2010, and the Sarasota County Commission passed an ordinance in October of this year that would allow it to happen locally. What needs to happen before that's possible, though, are a few next steps that are listed at the bottom. We are currently negotiating our interlocal agreements with the PACE providers. These are actually special districts that were created for this purpose. They are other local governments, just not cities or counties. And we will need to have an agreement with each of the 4 that is interested in offering the program in our community. So we're doing that right now. The cities in Sarasota will need to opt into the program if they want to participate. So our program will fall for unincorporated county and any of the cities that adopt a resolution saying we want to join. So that's just another step. I know from speaking with them that most are very interested, and we'll be working with them as we move forward. The goal is that in February-ish, maybe it'll take longer depending on the negotiations and the opt-in process, we will have a program ready to launch that will start by a series of educational workshops that we will offer in partnership with the PACE providers to get people to understand the pros and cons, the risks, the opportunities of this financing tool so that they can make informed decisions on whether this is right for them. But I'm going to give you a preview of those workshops today so that you get a sense of what this tool might be able to do. First is who and what might qualify for a PACE financing. The first thing is the what, and the what is very limited by state statute to only energy improvements and hurricane hardening efforts in both residential and commercial properties. So they would have to have an energy efficiency benefit, and we in our ordinance required that where it is certified by Energy Star, it will be required to be. So if you're getting an air conditioner, you can't just get sort of code minimum. You will have to have an Energy Star rated air conditioner. And then on the hurricane side, it'll be roof hardening and connections, storm shutters, and storm windows. There is a state limitation that the value of the improvement can't be more than 20% of the just value of the property. Okay? Now, how about you as the property owner? How do you qualify? There are some criteria that you can't have delinquent property taxes, you can't have delinquent or late outstanding mortgage payments, you can't have any involuntary liens or defaults or bankruptcies in process at the time. Okay, this is a pretty low bar. If you've ever tried to get other types of financing, that's not hard to meet. So we at the local government level had some concerns about, is this really going to be a high enough bar that will keep people from getting into it that really shouldn't be having these types of financing tools? And so we added an additional one that was based on some programs in Palm Beach County and Broward County, and we have a requirement that the residential property owners will have one of the 4 that are listed at the bottom. And I'm not going to get into them, they're kind of wonky, but there's one that has to do with the value of assessments and income of the property owner. There's one that has to do with whether the mortgage holder will give consent either for the assessment or for the escrowing of the value for the assessment. Another one is that the savings for the energy savings that would result from the project will be more than the cost of the assessment. I think this one's the best, right? If you can put in an improvement where you're actually going to save more than the cost of that improvement, go for it. And if this helps you finance it, that's the way to go. Another last one is about the equity on the property. So you don't have to meet all 4 of them. You would just have to find one of those that you qualify for. So how will PACE work? If you're interested in this, once the program launches, the first step is that the contractors who are offering the product need to be signed up and trained by the PACE providers. So in order for them to offer you the financing, they have to be signed up with one or several, ideally, of these PACE providers so that they can then give you the financing. The property owners would get quotes for the improvements, just like you would. Hopefully you'd get at least 3 quotes for whatever you're doing on your home for these qualifying improvements. You would then research the best financing tools that are available to you. You'll get information on what the contractors offer for how to finance. You will hopefully then also talk to a bank or a financial manager, get their opinion on what the best ways to finance this for you in your particular situation would be. If you choose PACE, if that is best for you, then you would sign a financing agreement with the contractor and the PACE provider. So the contractor actually provides you this PACE financing agreement. And then the contractor is paid by the PACE local government after you sign off that the project has been done as agreed, okay? And then you repay this through your property taxes once a year as a line item on your property taxes, but you pay it all together. Making sense? Okay, it's a weird tool, but it could provide a way around some barriers. So here are some quick benefits and risk. I have the positive things first, and then we'll get to some of the risks. So first thing is that the PACE providers provide a little bit of contractor management. They have a code of conduct for their participating contractors. They have a qualifications check annually. They have a level of accountability, and they have some price checks, actually. They are required to compare the prices to sort of market prices. The energy savings obviously are a big benefit. There's an eligible measures list, requires them to be a higher standard for efficiency, and you must be provided with an estimate of the energy savings opportunities. There is a quick approval process. It won't affect your credit. There is a maximum repayment term that is based on the life of the product, so it is going to possibly be longer than some other financing tools, and you won't be penalized for early repayment. On the negative side, the interest rates right now are about 6 to 9%, which there are financing tools that are less than that. You should certainly look into those. Qualifying does not guarantee your ability to pay, so you really need to be mindful and do your own budgeting and understanding to make sure that you actually can make this payment every year. And it's only going to be once a year, not every month, so it might sneak up on you. It may affect the sale of your property. In some cases, it may carry over to the next owner, but in other cases, it may need to be paid off at the point of sale, and that'll have to be negotiated. And you have to tell those next buyers about the lien, and just like with most financing, there is an opportunity to lose your property if you don't pay it off. There are other financing tools, and I've been told my time is up, so I'm just quickly going to say your best option is always going to be cash because there's no cost of capital. There are some equity lines that are lower interest rates, and then there are some tools that are emerging as possibilities that may be lower interest rates than PACE, and there are certainly sort of credit card options that are higher interest rates. So please be informed and look into that, and stay tuned for hopefully February, maybe a bit longer, for this opportunity.